Prophetic entry number 1. The fractured nation in the Second Civil War. I saw the borders of the United States tear open from the inside out. The enemy has sowed seeds of division so deep that the land fractured into a second civil war, a precursor to the global fire that follows. The holy living flame pulled back the veil to show me the internal unraveling of the United States. The nation has turned its back on the foundations of its creator, actively rewriting divine laws to satisfy corrupt human thoughts and desires. Because the land has rejected the fear of the Lord and chosen to embrace abominations, God's protective hedge has been removed, allowing dark principalities to plunge the nation into internal bloodshed. Romans chapter 1, verse 28. The engineering of division, the enemy's chessboard. In my vision, I watched dark, evil spirits operating behind the culture and political curtains, deliberately driving population into absolute lawlessness. This war is not merely political. It is a downstream physical manifestation of an intense spiritual sickness. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. The ignited fuse the enemy uses, manufactured identities, pride, and false doctrines to ensure that citizens see their neighbors as enemies. Lukewarm Christians who refuse to call out wickedness and instead chose coexistence with sin will find themselves caught completely unprepared when the friction turns to open flame. The book of Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. The collapse of order. I saw the complete shattering of civil authority. Law enforcement and local governments will be overwhelmed as violent factions clash in the middle of the streets. The cities will burn, and the stability this nation once took for granted will vanish overnight. The economic catalyst. The Second Civil War does not happen in a vacuum. The visions show that internal warfare runs hand in hand with a full-on worldwide economic collapse. The crisis, the financial system, currencies, and supply lines that sustain modern society will instantly disintegrate. Money will become completely worthless, driving desperate, unrepentant people to turn on one another for survival. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19. The bloodshed. I saw widespread starvation, looting, and animalistic violence all across the plains. Because the people do not have the Holy Spirit to guide them, their fleshly survival instincts will drive them to mass murder. Neighbor will kill neighbor. Family against family over a single loaf of bread and a fresh glass of water. The trap of the false peace deal. As the internal war ravages the nation and leaves its borders vulnerable, the stage is set for a massive global trap. The foreign invader. The internal chaos of the Second Civil War weakens the nation's defenses, leading directly into the broader global conflict, World War III. The false resolution. In this absolute height of the bloodshed and starvation, a deceptive global peace deal will be introduced by the dark forces. This peace deal is a complete illusion, a trap designed to force the desperate remnants of the population to surrender their final freedoms and to bow to a unified satanic global governance systems. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. We know who they are. Linked biblical scriptures to my visions. Matthew chapter 24, verse 10 through 12. And then many will be offended, many will betray one another, and will hate one another, and because of lawlessness will bound, the love of many will grow cold. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. The watchman's brief. My watchman's warning to the watchman. Watchmen, do not anchor your security in the survival of an earthly kingdom, a political party, or the stability of an unrepentant nation. The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 16. Your citizenship belongs to a higher kingdom. When the borders fracture and the streets fill with violence, your only refuge will be the unshakable foundation of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Protect your home, keep your altar burning with pure fire, and prepare to stand as a beacon of light in the midst of a crumbling world. I tell you plainly, this section ties my geopolitical visions directly to the spiritual state of the nation, exposing exactly how internal division paves the way for the end-of-age systems.